Your mission, should you decide to accept it, is to know when to respond and when not to say nothing at all. As always, you always have a decision, but it is up to you to decide. This tape will self-destruct in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you're new to the episode, I go by the name of ED. For all you smart and intelligent folks out there, listen, that just simply means Ed. Today's episode is entitled Choosing Your Battles Wisely, Navigating the Professional World with Confidence. This is the extended version. You mind if I share a quote with you? It all begins and ends in your mind. What you give power to has power over you if you allow it. Les Brown. If you don't know, family, I have an 8-point framework. In these 8 points, I plan to unpack today's title, which is Choosing Your Battles Wisely, navigating the professional world with confidence. This is the extended version. Point number 1, know your objective. Listen, family, you need to define your goals up front if you choose to accept that particular battle. You need to understand, what are you in it for? Like, what are you looking to get out of this? A lot of times we step into battles or we put ourselves in positions and not knowing what we want to get out of it. Are we making a decision with our emotions, or are we making a decision with a logic? So we need to look at that before we engage in that battle. So again, know your objectives and know what you're going after. Hey family, I truly appreciate the love. I've been seeing some people really, locking in with me. So I appreciate you tuning in. For those who haven't, please go ahead and subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything. And hit this like button, because it really does help me out. It helps the algorithm out to bring continuous content out like that. I also put together an amazing little 7-point little checklist in a sense of project management, some strategies. I'll post that I'll pin that at the top of the comments when I post the video, and share this with your other fellow project managers. All right, let's get into point number 2. Disarm with humor. This is one of my favorites, family. See, listen, being able to make light of the mood, being able to use but I have to, let me give you the caveat. We must ensure that we use it appropriately so we can diffuse the tension, at the same time displaying confidence in your ability to navigate difficult situations. I know what you're thinking, and you're on the other side of this, and you're saying, well, ED, what does that look like? Here's a good example. I've done this in a meeting. I've done it many times. Here's a secret, and I want to give you the best value that I possibly can give you. Here we go, family. I will say, hey, Fred, before you tell me what your deadline is for the project, I got to tell you a little secret. Fred is like, he's caught off guard. Like, what is he talking about? What's going on? I want to tell you, Fred, I saved a bunch of money by switching to Geico. And everybody on the call just falls out laughing, because they're like, this guy, what is wrong with that? Now I got you. Now your defense is down. Now all of the tension that was in the room, it's minimized for a time being. Now I go in for what we call the kill. The kill is this, family. I go in with the intention, because I've already made it up in my mind. I already knew, based on previous conversations and dealing with Fred and some of the stakeholders that are aligned with Fred, that they're not there to collaborate. They are there because of things that may have happened in the past. And I'm going to cover a point that is going to address the reason why Fred felt that particular way. But once I get his defenses down, now, like I said, I go in for the kill. And when I go in for the kill, I do it with a humble approach. And I say, hey, Fred, listen, honestly, man, I know that you have your short staff. I know you're dealing with a lot over there. I know you told me 2 weeks. Is there any possible way we can do maybe a week and a half, or maybe even a week? And if we can't do that, let me know now so we can figure out an alternative. Fred said back, Ed, Ed, I'll go ahead and look at that. Let me go look at that. Give me a day and I'll get back to you. And honestly, family, you really because listen, we are building relationships here when we're leading projects. The more you can build a relationship, and instead of just sending out a generic email or sending out a generic Slack or Teams or whatever software platform that you're using, and genuinely building a actual relationship, it's going to help your project even more. So again, like I said, I always say, Hey, Fred, guess what I did? I saved a bunch of money switching to Geico, and I'll switch it up from time to time. But again, when I come with it, they already know, oh, what is ED up to? All right, let's move on to point number three. Point number three is the power of silence. The power of silence. See, listen, silence is an amazing technique. And this is coming from somebody that loves to talk, that comes from somebody that loves to really get the crowd going or get the stakeholders going. But sometimes I will get really, really silent. I'll get mute. I'll get so quiet that people say, hey, are you there? And I'll say yes. And I'm answering very short. Every time a question is, it gets shorter and shorter. And the reason why I'm doing that is saying that you've wasted my time. Reason why I'm doing that, I'm trying, no. I am making a point, family, to say that we came here to really conduct business. We came here to really talk about how we can make this project better. You're focused on the results. I'm focused on the outcome. How can I get us on the same page? I keep it brief and short. And then after a while, people are like, ooh, okay, I get where you're coming. So when I get silent, that means there's something that's going wrong. That means it's got so bad that we can't talk it out on a level that needs to be talked out. It got so bad that we can't have a good conversation because either people are talking over each other or it's things of that nature. So having the ability to leverage the power of silence. Now you have to be strategic with this. You can't just go quiet all the time because it's not going to work. It has to be strategic, family. So if you'd like to know more about that, leave a comment and say, hey, ED, I want to learn more about that. All right, point number 4, embrace constructive. I always tell you, family, all conflict is not bad. And I remember I just recently seen something from Cody Sanchez, and I would love to download a clip of how I perceived it. And she was saying, more or less, she was talking about the best companies and their founders and how they actively look for disagreement. Okay, here's the example. They would say, here's the action I want to take, and here's our company. I would love if you would poke holes in it and tell me the things you think I am missing. Cody says, what they're actively looking for disagreement because they're not looking to be right. They are looking to win. They want to win. Family, how many times that when we get into disagreement, we are looking to be right instead of looking to win? See, I love that clip so much. I literally saved that clip and I recalled it when I was putting this together and I was like, man, that was so powerful that Cody downloaded that piece. And Cody, if you ever watch this, I appreciate you sharing that because that really meant a lot. Now I've changed my approach to conflict. I'm not no longer looking to be right. I'm looking to see what is the best outcome or what is the best interest in the means of for a actual project or whatever that thing is that I'm doing. So if you're not a project manager and you're thinking about getting into project management, this is one of the skill sets you want to definitely develop is having the ability to not look to see what's right, but to see how can we win? How can we win of getting the best outcome for this actual project? And I promise you more people are going to want to work with you. Point number 5, embracing controversy. I know they say controversy doesn't sell. I say that's a myth. That's a lie. Listen, the ability to engage in creating controversy is typically avoided, but it can be a catalyst for change when traditional methods have failed. I've seen it where controversy within a project may happen where someone may intentionally come in and shake up the stakeholders. And I've done it as well. And this is the lesson. I think I've shared that before with you, family. I've learned it from Greg Popovich and Steve Kerr, where they would intentionally get a technical by getting a technical in a sense because they're fighting for one of their players fights it really boosts the team morale. And sometimes I will intentionally go back and forth with a stakeholder to actually boost up the rest of the stakeholders and the team to say, hey, when I made that commitment, not the interest, when I made that commitment to you, I got to do the finger. When I made that commitment to you, I truly meant that I had your back, your side, and your front. As long as you're going to do the same for me, I will show up every day as long as you show up every day. I will display a sense and a project a sense of professionalism as long as you do the same. But at any moment, if that has to change, if that pivots, we need to have a conversation. But until then, if a stakeholder is not playing ball, if they're not being cooperative, then yes, I will be the one that steps in the middle of that. You don't even have to worry about that. I got you. Let's move on to point number 6. Lead with solutions, not problem. Again, lead with solutions, not problem. This is one of the things I also shared that with you as well, family, where my mentor, one of my best friends actually pulled me aside. And when I got this game right here, ooh, it changed. I remember when I told you, basically here, I'll download you a quick copy of it. This is the cliff notes of it. I said where when I went to an actual sponsor, and I learned it from the sponsor who then turns out to be, a mentor and friend of mine. And they were like, hey, I was describing a problem over and over again. And then finally, I'm getting frustrated because I'm like, they're not really responding the way I wanted them to respond. And what happened was they said, hey, you came to me with the problem. You never proposed any solutions. When you're having a problem, come with a proposed solution. I don't care if it's right. I don't care if it's way off kilter, if it's off base. I don't care if it's way out of space. Point that he was making was, he doesn't want to do the thinking for me, but he wants to assist me how to think and how to make a decision if that problem ever comes up again. So family, I share that with you to say this: when you're up against a problem and you have to go to your sponsor, or you have to go to your stakeholders, or you have to go to, if you're in a PMO or your leadership, whoever it is that you have to go to get assistance, come and lead with a solution. Talk about the problem at a high glance, a high level, but then say, here, this is what I propose. What do you think we could do about it? They may say, hey, I really like that proposed solution. Let's run with it. Or no, let's look at this or this. So family, lead with solutions and not problems. Point number 7, cultivate a network of mentors. As you know, I have multiple mentors. The reason why I have multiple mentors, shout out to Phil, is because of the fact of it's very important to have mentors. I think it's even more important to have paid mentors, because paid mentors, we don't try and take advantage of them, meaning that sometimes when you have a mentor that's giving you information for free, you don't appreciate what they're doing, the value that they're giving in. Because you don't appreciate that value, sometimes you take it for what am I looking for? You don't really appreciate it at the level that is being given to you, because that particular person went through something that you're about to get ready to go through, and they're going to give you the shortcut. They're going to give you the abbreviated or the high level response to what you're about to experience. That's why I always love, one of my favorite movies with Liam Nelson. I think that's right. If I got it wrong, I apologize, family, but it's called Taken. And there's a part in Taken where his daughter is on the phone and someone just broke in the house, and he's on the phone with her and he says, hey, this is what's about to happen. And he walks her through all of the actions that are about to happen. He was like, you're about to be taken, but keep the phone on so I can listen to hear what's going on. Why do I share that story with you? I share that with you because, family, the whole point of it, of having a quality mentor, especially a paid mentor, they hold you accountable. They make sure you do what you said you were going to do. It's not an interest. It's always something that you said, hey, this is what I need in my life. This is what I want to be. I want to develop a brand. I want to develop this. And they hold you to that level. They don't allow you to get out of it. They don't allow you to procrastinate. They hold you to a level. So I won't beat that up anymore, but I want to let you know, family, having a mentor is definitely key. Let's move on to the last and final point here. Timing and setting. Listen, timing and setting is very significant when you're getting ready to go to war, go to a battle. Address conflicts at the time and place is going to be the best way. Now, I'm going to say this, and I know it may rub some people the wrong way, but again, like I always say, it's part of the job. One of the things is that you're going to have to learn when to publicly address somebody and when to take it behind closed doors and privately address them. It's one of those things where it's not a one size fit all. I can't just say, well, yes, you should have done that privately, or yes, you should have done that publicly, because there's been many instances where something I said, I had a conversation privately, I should have addressed publicly, and things I said publicly, I should have said privately. But so it's a learning lesson. Remember, family, we are in a learning process where our goal is to get 1% better every day that we have an opportunity to wake up. I have two bonuses for you. First bonus is use EI, emotional intelligence. Listen, being able to practice the ability of self-awareness and self-regulation when you're approaching conflicts is going to be huge. Like, what gets under your skin? What gets you frustrated? When I opened this up, I led it with around the Les Brown quote. I brought that quote out because of the fact of, if you don't understand what gets you frustrated and gets you upset, then people will have control over you. When someone has control over you, they can do as they please. So learn what gets under your skin, what ticks you off, because the better you learn this is the better you'll be prepared for battle. And my last and final bonus, because I want to over deliver, family, is consider long-term relationships. Listen, weigh the importance of the relationship against the significance of the issue at hand. Sometimes, and I do mean sometimes, maintaining a positive relationship is more valuable than winning a particular battle. Hey, family, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. And again, I go by the name of ED, and this has been a really good episode. I really believe this is going to change people. I love to see what you guys think. Leave me a comment. I love to know where you're from. And what was one of the points that really arrested your attention that say, you know what, hey, I'm going to go and take that particular point and actually experiment with it and see if it works. Until next time, I'm out.